My name is Gina, and I am currently managing the Produce Safety Improvement Grant Program. These Produce Safety Improvement Grants are coming at an important time for our Vermont farmers right now, in terms of increasing their capacity to respond to the pandemic. Maybe tell us a little bit about your farm for folks that haven't heard about it before, and maybe what you grow and that kind of thing.
We're Evening Song Farm, and this is our 12th year growing, our 10th year as Evening Song Farm. We're a certified organic veggie farm, and we grow on about 4 to 5 acres in south of Rutland area in Vermont. We normally serve 2 farmers markets, 1 year round, several wholesale outlets, and a large CSA that goes year round. Because of COVID-19, we've quit our markets for mostly the safety of our staff and ourselves and our families and our customers, because a lot of customers have come to us knowing that we're not doing extra public exposure. So we've expanded our CSA. It's about double. And we've continued a similar amount of wholesales. They've just kind of been a different sales outlet. We hire the equivalent of 4 full-time folks. It's 6 different humans, but we have flexible schedules for a lot of folks, a lot of parents on the team.
Great, thank you. So a little bit about you, Kara. How did you learn to farm?
So let's see. My husband and I lived on the student-run farm at our college. We realized in retrospect that it was a really excellent place for him and I to learn, because both of us are the types of learners that learn by diving in and making our own mistakes and learning from that. So that was kind of where we started. So we learned from definitely working on different operations, but we weren't really sure. Both of us thought we were going to be either educators or work with adults with special needs. We just kind of thought farming was a hobby that we would have in our back pocket for later. So anyway, a couple years after college, some dear friends of ours needed help at their farm. So they asked us to come live and help their farm in exchange for, they had a lot of land, and they said, do whatever to make your own income. So we took some books out from the library because we thought vegetables were a quick turnaround, and we didn't know how long we would live there. And instead of investing in a longer term operation, we thought we'd start a little CSA to pay our bills. So we did. And again, it was a lot of like self-taught, with the experiences we had at different farms. And we had an incredibly lucky beginner's luck year. and everything worked. In retrospect, we realized everything worked pretty nicely. And, there was a lot of difficulty, but it was mostly because we had no experience or knowledge to do this on a market scale. But we got through those first 2 years and decided to write a business plan and move back up to Vermont and start our own. And that's kind of how we started and learned.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So on the topic of produce safety, can you describe the steps that you take on your farm to keep your produce safe?
Yeah, I'll try to overlap it between normal and our new normal. But we've always taken food safety seriously for several reasons. So that the basics are, having, first of all, a food safety plan that we teach our employees about. The basics being, washing our hands, keeping all our surfaces clean, tracing how we move product from the field to the consumer, and making sure each step is either done safely or there's a cleaning mechanism to each step. But yeah, that's kind of the gist. The main key is the training of our employees and having an actual food safety plan. But from the get-go, when we were beginner farmers, we felt like having a food safety plan legitimized us to the community when we were new faces that people would have to get to know. So that was a way to establish ourselves as serious, reliable growers before we were certified organic. And so now with COVID-19, I guess I should add, like probably many other farms, we've really increased what that looks like. So now all high touch surfaces are wiped down every 1 or 2 hours, depending on what the surface is. Everything's disinfected at the end of the day and at lunch and the first thing in the morning. We have new intense levels of safety. Like we used to have a couple pairs of wash gloves for the wash station that people would share, but now every staff member has their own labeled gloves, and that they wash their hands before they put on their gloves and then put their gloves away. All gloves and masks are washed at the end of every day for the next day. We have different like ear protection for everyone that uses a machine. We have our own separate like harvest knives. All of these things are still also getting disinfected, but we find because there's 8 of us who work here with our 6 employees, and 5 of the 8 of us live with someone who has a risk that would make a poor outcome for this disease. So we all have to take it really seriously not to have this workplace be a place of contamination.
Absolutely. And so do you feel like there's overlap there in terms of like some of those practices that you were already doing and now what the new practices you've adopted?
Yeah, totally. I think the main way that things have changed, it's basically our normal practices much more frequently. And on top of that, we used to view like our product as like something to keep safe and clean for our customers. But now we are viewing our workplace as like a way we have to keep safe and clean from each other as well. And so that is the main difference.
So can you describe your produce safety improvement project?
Sure. The main theme was, disinfectability, basically. So we got large plastic foldable bulk bins for the storage veggies that we store through the winter. We used to use like wooden pallet bins that we would, do our best to wash down and like sit in the sun during the season, in between seasons. But now those bins are amazing. When we're done with them, we just go and disinfect them and collapse them and store them for the next year. We also got new tomato crates for displaying tomatoes and transporting tomatoes and storing tomatoes. We used to use these like wooden crates that we would spray down and wash out, but how clean could a wooden crate fully get? And then the other biggest improvements were we were able to get all of our surfaces in the wash station to be stainless steel. And we got a new hand washing station. We had before, it was just like not an effective setup to basically keep all the surfaces as clean as we would like. And so now it was literally finished just in time to have a situation where we're disinfecting things regular. If we had our old wash station without all these stainless steel surfaces, we would be spending so much time getting everything clean that even might not be at a level that I'd be happy with. And now it's literally under a minute or two to do all the disinfecting each stage that we need to, because the surfaces are so great now.
Great. And then how did you expect the project to go, and how did it actually go? Were there any roadblocks along the way?
Yeah, there weren't really roadblocks, I would say. Yeah, like really small things. We were trying to work with a local distributor in terms of the stainless steel. And, sometimes they would say they had it in stock and then they didn't when I showed up or something like that, but small potatoes. And then I guess also when the tomato crates we got were similar to other ones we had, so we wanted to make sure they were a different color. That's one of the keys to our success, is like everything is a different color, so staff can very easily visually like keep things separate.
Beyond food safety, what other benefits resulted from implementing this project on your farm?
The biggest is like team morale. It's so much easier to keep spaces clean and organized when you have appropriate equipment, and when you have nice shiny things, people want to do a good job, and people are just super happy. I did not expect a food safety grant to make our team as happy as it is, but they love it. And it's now also a source of pride for them. When we talk with other farms during this pandemic, I can tell that they're just like really grateful to be working in a space that we can keep clean. So yeah, I guess the side benefit is it made everyone happy.
It's a big deal.
Cool.
Yeah. And then in terms of COVID, and we already touched on this a little bit, but in general, like how did this grant affect your farm's ability to respond to the coronavirus pandemic?
It helped us pivot everything quickly. Like, you know, we all had to shift very fast, every business, not just farms, but I had to spend a lot of time doing, you know, creating a new online store and changing our field maps to become a CSA farm predominantly instead of both CSA and market. And the fact that I didn't have to spend that much time at all coming up with new systems for our wash station safety, it was just like buy a lot more products, buy more, you know, gloves and masks and things, and then, you know, print out a new checklist for when all this food safety stuff has to be done. And that was it. So like the changes that we had to do in the wash station with COVID-19 were really minimal.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And can you briefly, this is the last question, can you just share maybe one or two future goals for the future of your farm?
Yeah, our goals are usually around staff benefits and our own quality of life, which includes everyone, staff and us, of having more time off. I don't really know how to reach that goal. We're trying to use this moment in time where we've quit our markets to see if we can redesign our business so that we stay predominantly CSA year round. So I think with this like new change of no markets, we're really feeling like, wow, we can be present for our kids much better on the weekends. And so we're really curious if we can take this moment and really transform how we do business. So that's kind of a goal, be available for our kids on the weekends.
Great. Thank you so much, Kara, for taking your time.
Totally. Cool. Well, thanks for doing this. I hope you guys get funding for everyone that can improve their food safety.